Hey everyone, it's the interview queen, Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with Kris Gethin. Hello.
Hello there. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, everything's okay. It's a beautiful day outside, getting a little bit of movement on my treadmill desk here, talking to you, so it's not so bad, huh?
Right, we're all hanging in there. We're all, fingers crossed, staying safe, taking it day by day as we were kind of talking before the camera started rolling here. But for everyone watching, let them know how you're holding up with everything going on right now.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a homebody anyway. I travel a lot for work, but I'm a person of routine. So I kind of like being in a routine of being at home because when I'm traveling, which I usually travel quite a lot, kind of it can throw you off a little bit. I like to be that homebody to a certain degree. I like to get away on the weekends, but I like to have that discipline of being at home and in an environment that I can control.
I'm the same way. I find that you're so go, go, go constantly that when you actually get that break time and downtime at home, it feels like a rarity. So you almost have to treasure it in a sense. So this pandemic has kind of been this bizarre, that's been the silver lining, at least for I know a lot of people. And I know a lot of people to kind of fight boredom that comes with this is they've taken up a lot of new things, whether baking or just watching tons of shows. So have you found yourself doing anything new in that sense?
I'd say not in that sense. I don't really watch much TV. I definitely don't watch the news or participate in any of that. I like to stay informed, but I'd say, when the lockdown happened and obviously the gym started closing down, I do have a bit of a setup in my garage downstairs. But I bought some kettlebells and I've just been really enjoying the kettlebell workouts. So I've been participating in that a little bit more and actually thinking of going for my Russian kettlebell certificate. So I'd say that's the one thing that I got out of it more than anything, and just started reading a bit more fiction as opposed to the self-help motivational business books.
That's awesome. That kind of opened your eyes to like a couple new things, and even better that you're enjoying them. So before we get into some fitness talk, I did notice that you have this really cool tattoo on your knuckles that simply says face fear. So I was curious, what's the story behind that one?
Well, I think, we're usually, like in COVID now, people are controlled by fear. And I think a lot of people don't live their lives that they should do because they're controlled by fear. Like, I'm amazed when I speak to a lot of people and they don't do so many things in their life. And the bottom of it comes from fear. And I think it's very controlling. People don't live out their lives, they will live a life of regret towards the end of their life because they were struck by this fear. So that's a reminder for me, just continue to face the fears.
And that's definitely not your only tattoo. So what was the first tattoo that you actually ever got?
My first tattoo. That was the age of like 16. I was racing motocross and I was sponsored by a clothing company called Bad Boy Clothing. So I had that tattoo put on my shoulder when I was like 16. So that was the first one that I had done, but I've had it covered up since.
I was going to ask if it's something you still have and wear with pride?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I was told by my father I'd regret it at the time, and he was right.
Right. They say listen to your parents when it comes to stuff like that, don't they? I guess he had the one up on that specific one.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, when it comes to working out, you're of course a world-renowned fitness expert, and being in this line of work, it takes such serious passion and willpower. So, have you always been fairly laser focused and driven?
I'd say, yeah, I've been driven towards things that I really enjoy, and I like being comfortable on getting uncomfortable. So, like I come from a sporting sort of background from when I was like 6 years old, but I always participated in individual sports, never team sports. I was never a real good team player. I didn't want the pressure put on myself, and I didn't want to have the dependency of the outcome on others. So I've always liked to, do like motocross, mountain biking, Ironman triathlon, running, bodybuilding, and and I always think to myself, how can I be harder to kill? So it's usually challenging yourself and putting yourself into situations where you kind of condition your resolve. You spend time whilst you're out there in the training, in the trenches, self-reflecting at the same time. I find that very hard to do in a team atmosphere. So I like to do it. So it's kind of like active meditation, I'd say, to a certain degree. And the more that I can pursue different forms of discipline, I find that it has a transcendence effect in other areas of my life, whether it comes to like happiness, relationship, business, whatever it is. So if I can have that form of discipline in, the sport that I like to participate in, it just has a positive effect in other areas.
And what's interesting is how you not only have given yourself that outlook and positive effect, but definitely all of the people that you train and all the clients that you have under you, because you have been voted world's #1 trainer. And it's really amazing to see all of these transformations that you post. Like within weeks, people look completely different. They're healthier. Like it's amazing. So for you, what has been more fulfilling, kind of seeing your progress over the years or seeing the progress and potential of a client?
I'd say it's a bit of both. Because I always say knowledge without mileage is bullshit. So it's very hard for me to understand the emotional struggle that a client goes through without me having to not go through that myself. So I think if I go through that emotional struggle, it helps me better relate. So, I get fulfilled from, I'd say the miles that I've put in, which gives me the knowledge that I'm able to pass on to others and then witness their transformation. Because a lot of the time, the transformation isn't just the before and after pictures that you see. That transformation has happened from the neck up, not from the neck down. So you see the
Mental,
emotional.
a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. So you see the emotional roller coasters that these people go through throughout their life, the stress that they've gone through, the pressure that their family puts on them or whatever, and they're not happy. They're just not happy. So when they put themselves first, and sometimes you have to be selfish in order to be selfless, then you witness an amazing transformation. It's very fulfilling. So, you get to do something that you enjoy and, change people's lives in the process. So it's fulfilling from all aspects.
That's a really cool thing to see anytime one of those before and after photographs come up. It's such a drastic difference, and it's usually not a crazy, crazy amount of time. So I definitely understand why people are coming to you for this kind of stuff, because clearly you're doing something right, both physically and mentally. And it's really neat when that stuff appears and you're like, wow, they must have really been dedicated, not just on your part, but also the clients.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's all the clients, because I can give them the tools and tell them exactly what to do. But it's much like with any book that's on the shelves. All those books are useless unless you actually apply it. Some people become students of learning, and some become students of application. And it's the application that really matters. And you see that before and after. Yeah, it is in a short time, but I really do push them very, very hard during that time. It's not an enjoyable experience a lot of the time, but I make it very clear that this is the boot camp for the rest of your life. It's going to be tough right now. Yeah, you may be with me for 3 or 6 months, and you're not allowed to have a single cheat meal or a glass of wine, for instance. But it doesn't mean that's not there after the 6 months. We just need to ensure that when you do have that pizza or that glass of wine, that you are completely aware. And I think the majority of people are not aware of why they do a certain thing. If they're eating that pizza, is it because they're hungry? Is it because they're lacking in sleep? Is it because they're lonely, or are they depressed, or some other emotional disorder? And once they are completely aware of that, then they're able to take control of their life.
That's a really interesting outlook on it. It's something that even when you say it that way, it like makes me kind of think about stuff. It seems almost obvious, but it's not something that would occur to you unless kind of told.
Sometimes we need to be told the obvious. That's what I find the majority of the time. Because, when you're eating a meal, are you always eating in complete silence and being grateful for that food and taking your time and acknowledging the taste? Or are you scrolling? Are you watching TV? Are you reading? Are you in conversation? Usually the latter, so you're not aware. So I think once you put yourself in that state of awareness, then it all makes sense.
No, definitely. Now, something else I did want to discuss with you is the fact that you have franchises all over the place as co-founder of Gethin Gyms, and I can only imagine how crazy of an undertaking that must have been in the start and having that vision. So I'd love to know a little bit more about expanding and how cool it is for you to kind of take a step back and see your gym and names all over the place.
Yeah, it's been challenging as of recent because of COVID, because all the gyms
Of
have
course.
been closed. But the gyms have just started opening now across India, where we started the franchise. But however, it's sporadically happening. But yeah, it is fulfilling. But our job is far from done, because we created these gyms as like academies, not only for people to come in and train with our transformers and our personal trainers to change their lives, but also for the staff to have an ongoing form of education within these platforms. Because quite often a personal trainer will get qualified, but then that's when their education stops. And we wanted to create these academies, if you will, which are the Kris Gethin gyms across India, to help with the personal training industry and the fitness industry across that country, because they are very motivated and passionate, but the education is very, very far behind of what we would see in the Western world of like Canada, US, UK, etc. So, that's the main reason why we wanted to start that up. And like I said, our job is far from finished there. So, I never really sit back and go, yeah, this is cool what we've achieved. We're nowhere near what we want to achieve. And I don't know if we ever will. It's always a constant journey. And I feel that's where the evolution lies. It's not within any destination.
Well, congratulations on what you have achieved so far, and hopefully everything you're kind of thinking about comes to fruition. Fingers are crossed for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, if we don't have a second or third or fourth or fifth wave, maybe we will. Yeah.
Right, right. I feel like every time things are about to open back up or they do, you're kind of put on hold and told, like, nope, reel it back. So I can imagine the frustrations there.
Yeah. But, we're rolling with the punches. We got to be prepared.
Of course. On my show, I not only interview bodybuilders, people in the fitness world, but also musicians and wrestlers. So I was curious for you, when you are in the gym, who are some of those people that you really like listening to?
Ah, right. Okay, good question. So it's very diverse, and it all depends on how I feel on that day. Sometimes I feel like I want to have a slightly more aggressive workout. So it could be something crazy heavy. Could be something along the lines of like Slipknot, Hatebreed, something like that. Could be something a little more mellow, but I still want something that has some depth and heaviness. So it could be something from the 70s like Led Zeppelin or Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. And other times it could be something a little bit more diverse, anything that Mike Patton puts out, from Faith No More and Peeping Tom and Phantomus. So it's very diverse. It's all over the place. But if it's hip hop, it's going to be more old school hip hop, like your Ice T's, Ice Cubes, NWA, Eric B.
That's
Rakim.
where I'm at.
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. So I like all the old school hip hop. I was listening to some old Onyx on the weekend, and I like some sort of aggressive rap.
Yeah, for me it was like NWA, DMX, like that was the stuff that I listened to all the time growing up.
Yeah.
And I just can't get into the new stuff. Like I try. I really try, just because you think, especially being a Torontonian, anytime I tell someone I don't like Drake, like the amount of slack I get is incredible. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm totally with you, because like there'll be so much hype behind, like you said, the Drakes or the Post Malones, and I try, because I'm thinking there must be something behind this hype. And it's not that they're not any good, they're good at what they do, I'm sure, but I'm just not into it, and I hope it's not catching, but it seems to be.
right. I kind of sometimes think, like, what am I missing? There has to be something going on in my brain that I'm just not catching on. But who knows? Maybe we'll find something else newer one day that we like. But for me, it's just been constant old school stuff since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
I'm with you. Can't beat a bit of DMX.
You can. The way it just gets you like riled up and ready to go, it's just untouchable.
Yeah, it's deep. Times have changed. I don't know. Maybe there's more drugs in the world now, so we can't really understand it.
Maybe. You never know. Well, I really want to say thank you so much, Kris, for taking the time, for hopping on here. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to speak with you today. I know you have a really busy schedule, so I appreciate you fitting this in.
No, it's okay. I'm able to multitask. So thank you very much. I really appreciate being on your show as well.
Of course. Everyone, this has been Kris Gethin. I'm the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Be sure to check out aliciaatout.com for all exclusive interviews and features, and we will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.